Anything else? Hearing none, then council, I'd like to add under 9, new business E, city manager's proposed compensation plan for 2009. Not 2010, this would be for 2009. Nothing else, council? I'm looking at an agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We have an agenda. Now, Mayor-elect down there. Pay attention, because this is the toughest thing that mayor has to do. It's so tough that even though you're supposed to do it annually, you very seldom do it. Council. I added to the agenda and I asked our city manager to go upstairs and find something else to do. But in talking to the council about our city manager's salary and possible salary adjustments over the past week, I agree with Ms. Tessier that we have to have a way in the future of doing this in a far better way than we have had in the past. When I first got on the city council, Mr. Mares Harry Mares was the mayor, and we didn't have a salary adjustment for a city manager for the whole time I was on city council. It was under, I think, Mayor Patty Butcher's mayorship that we had an adjustment, and then it's been periodic since then. It's one of these things. Previous councils, even I believe myself when I was on the city council and asked to give a performance appraisal of the city manager, found it tough to do so. This time, Mr. Jones, thank you, Mr. Jones, put together a kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of different ones, which still is rather lacking in its thoroughness. But I asked the council to please fill it out, and I did get 3 of them back. And that's one of the things that your challenge will be, is to work with the council, maybe after you get sworn in, have 2 members of the council set up a subcommittee to figure out a way to make this process easier and smoother as far as the city manager's compensation. But as far as tonight, for 2009, which will be ending soon, it's my job to ask the council if this is fair or not. I looked with Mr. Rambo, came together with the actually resolution that's in front of you. And I just want to read just 2 paragraphs of it. The city's overall employee compensation package for the 6-year period has averaged an annual adjustment of 3%. Although the city manager has told me that he is satisfied with his compensation, it is my belief that he should receive comparable compensation consideration similar to other city employees, and that the city should pay a competitive salary based on his responsibilities and performance. The proposal I wish to submit to you acknowledges the likelihood that compensation for employees will be frozen next year. Almost for sure they're going to be frozen next year. And that it has been almost 2 years since the city manager's salary was adjusted. And during that time, wage increases in the city have increased slightly over 3%. Based upon the city manager's past performance and the vision we hold for this community in the future, I am submitting the following resolution, which you all have, which will increase the position's base compensation for calendar year 2009, the year now just ending, by 3%, while leaving his deferred compensation, performance, and transportation compensation at the 2002 level. So that's what I'm asking for the council. There's a resolution for your consideration. And I hope, Mayor-elect and council, that you will figure out a way to make this more automatic than years previous, because this is always the toughest part of being the mayor. And that's why I asked our city manager to leave. So there's a resolution for your consideration, council.
Mr. Mayor, motion to approve the increase in wages.
Resolution provided in your packet.
Yes.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Jones. Mr. Belisle.
Just a couple comments, I guess. It seems like, the economic challenges are they've been intensifying, probably, especially probably the last 6 months. And I agree with the mayor that when we negotiate contracts, it probably would be better, especially we're negotiating a contract for 2009, and we're looking at it in December. Maybe need to look at it earlier in the year. But a second big part would be, or an important part would be, our city's manager has negotiated contracts with pretty much all our city employees this year. And I'm not sure on the number. I was trying to think of, I'm not sure how many, the numbers of employees we have.
Mr. Rambo can,
We have, mayor, members of the council, we have approximately 106 employees and 55 volunteer firefighters.
and how many unions are represented in the city?
There are 4.
So I guess my point would be is that the contracts were negotiated for I think pretty much all their contracts were negotiated this year. I might be wrong, but for basically 106 employees for the 2009 contract period. Those were complete. Can we say, yeah, the economic times, they're not getting, I don't see that they're getting any better, but in the sense of fairness, I think, because the contracts were negotiated for all our city staff, I think our city manager obviously is a city staff, and his contract is the last one to get negotiated. So, I'm going to support this, and I agree with the mayor. I think 2010, 2011, states, you're looking at the forecast for the 2011, 2012, I believe, biennium, and we're going to be looking at a totally different picture. And most of us that are in private business, for the most part, have seen some substantial changes, and we know it's difficult and challenging out there, but I think in a sense of fairness this year and looking at the compensation that was negotiated and agreed upon throughout the 2009 year, I think it's just appropriate to basically complete the contract for our basically last employee that doesn't have a contract in place.
Okay, with that, we'll have just a regular oral vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, Consul. And I guess if